Shit talk up late. I really did want to stay away from this, but my mind does not. See, yesterday I found this AKt KINase. Okay, so I went on a research for it. I went to look to see what this word was because it looks like kinase, like telekinesis. So here the word appears to be in Greek. It is a Greek word. Here we have KINEIN, and it means to move. And they can move us about. Like they have a magnet and they can move us about, especially now that they have filled us with all types of mercury. If you use toothpaste that has fluoride in it, go and research the ingredients of fluoride and you will find mercury. Research the ingredients to GMOs and you will find mercury. Research the chemtrails, ingredients to the chemtrails, and you will find mercury. In the chemtrails, you'll find a lot of other kind of minerals that they are taking from out of human nature and turning the minerals into chemicals so they can kill us, and that we will have enough mercury in our bodies that they can just take a magnet and put us wherever the fuck they want to put us. And they will put into your mind that you want to go here. There's a movie, Cabin in the Woods. The guy that smokes the weed, that's a funny part too. He's sitting there and he's smoking, and all of a sudden something tells his mind to go outside, and then the guy says, I don't want to go outside, but he goes outside anyway. And my son had done it before, way before this movie even happened. This had to be like 2009, 2010, somewhere around that time. My son had done it, he came home, and as long as the caveman woman was not around him, he knew she had some kind of control on him, and he would talk about it. He even told me one day, we were sitting there talking, and he said, Ima, they see and hear everything you say to me. I said, who is they? And how can they see? He said, they see through my eyes. But I did not know anything about targeting individual and anything about mind control, the way mind control is through military programs and shit. So, but I learned, and it was through my son that I learned something that happened with him and the fucking police. Now, on this day that I'm talking about, my son said he was not going outside. He was going to stay in the house all day. My son felt like something was after him, but he did not know what it was. So the next thing I know, then I sitting in the study. The study has these glass doors, that lead into the house, glass sliding doors that lead into the house, so you can see inside the study from the house. Where the machine was placed is right next to the sliding doors. So all of a sudden I see Adana, he get up and he go out the door. He doesn't tell anyone where it's going or anything. When Adana comes back in, he sits down, and he has like this little can of some kind of drink. Okay, fuck it. I'm just gonna go on from here because if I don't touch this damn machine, I never liked it. I just never liked this goddamn machine. It's too sensitive for me. It's like a weak ass man. Anyway, so when Adana comes back in, he sits down and he has this drink, some form of energy drink, but it has alcohol in it. And the drink is open, but he places it on the table. Like on the cocktail table that's in the study. He places it there. And so after a while, me just looking at him, he's just sitting there like he's in a fucking daze. So I get up and I go in the room and say, hey, what's up with you? And he begins to tell me this story. He says, Ima, He said, I got up to get some water. I swear I did. When he tells me something, he always says, I swear I did, because I found Adonai to be a little liar when he was younger. And they told him, when you start telling the truth, no one's going to believe you. No one's going to say, oh, he's telling the truth. They're going to say, oh, shut up, you're just lying. And that was when I was back in my belief system. That's why I told him no one will believe him. So anytime Adonai began to tell me the truth, he swears up and down. He will swear on the name Yahweh. He will swear on the name acTIvITy, because now he needs me to know that he is telling me the truth. So, he says, Ima, I swear I did. Praise Yahweh, I did. I got up to get some water. He said the next thing I know, I was in the store. I knew I was in the store. He says, and now I'm back home. And I have this drink, whatever the name it was. He said, Ima, I swear I was not going outside. I told you I was not going outside. He said, I don't know what's going on here, but I think something is after me. He thinks something is after him. That was not the first time he told me he thinks something is after him. When he told me about they can see me through his eyes, he was like, I think something is after me. So that's why I say they can pick you up and move you around, and they can have you do what they want you to do. Now my son Adonai, when he was born, they tried to have him come on a certain day, which he did come. No, he came on the day in between what the doctor said and in between what I said. The doctor said he will be born on the 6th. They tried to get me to come in to have them induce my labor on the 6th. I already had a daughter born August 6th, and that girl drove me crazy. I did not want a little male child born on the same day to drive me the same craziness. No. So I went in on the 7th. And I think Adonai is born August 8th, because my grandbaby is born August 9th. Well, anyway, when I went in, Adonai was born like 11 something, that almost 12. Almost the day that I say he will be born. On the 9th is the day I say he will be born. But they induced my labor. So I don't know if he would have actually been born on the 9th or not. But I know he was not born too many minutes away from the 9th. Some weird shit happened when I had him too. I'm not going to go into that. But I want you to know, they can even use your baby. There was a Family Guy where the old man, he put these things on him like he was going to have an EKG. He put these kind of gargles on, and then he went into something like a tent. When the mom came to pick up the baby, his name is Stewie. The man couldn't see down the female's breasts, so it was as though Stewie was having these thoughts about his mom. They also can make Stewie want to kill his mom, and they do the same thing to us today. Now, I went to the etymology of this word. Man, I wish I had my books. And this word came out in 1902. And it is from Greek, Kinian. The word Kin has something to do with being kin to someone, or some form of kind, like this kind, that kind. Well, this kind, KINase, it means to move. It is a chemical suffix, also ASE. So now they have put, the Willie Lynch letter, how he sits there and he can tell the difference between this slave and that slave, and if this slave is stronger, if that slave is stronger, well, this slave is weaker, well, that slave is weaker. They're akin to each other. The slaves are akin to each other. So now they want to use chemicals on us, the ASE. So all of us who are akin to melanated men, we're akin to each other. I don't give a damn if you think you're Chinese or Mexican or this or that. If you are melanated, then you are akin to me. And they're using this shit on YouTube. And it means to move. To move your ass around. Now it says sight. To move, see sight. Yeah. To move your ass from this site to another with internet technology. Also, 1 and 3. There's 13. We are the 13 stranders. The melanated man is a 13th strander. And here you have C, and I'm going to say this for carcinogens. So they move our carcinogens around with internet technology. Who is doing this? The elite motherfuckers. This was done in the mid 15th centuries, like when they started moving my folk. I don't know about you, because some people say, oh, we were never in slavery. Well, maybe they were never in slavery because all of us were not in slavery. There were Moors who were not in slavery, but they had slaves. But when it was time for a nigger to sit on the back of the bus, guess who was sitting on the back of the bus with us? The Moors. And all the fucking glory they can talk about. Nigga, you just a nigga too. You just a more ass nigga. And then some more say they are more rich. Try to tell me I am more rich. Bitch, I ain't Moorish. Ain't no ish shit about me. I am more. A more. Not more-ish. A more-ish person is someone who wants to be a Moor and maybe deal with the Moor culture. But they are not Moors. They are pink. That's why they are Moor-ish. Because they have the culture, the actions of a Moor. A melanated man, you're just a Moor. You're not Moor-ish. You're just a fucking Moor. Well, let me quit telling you what the fuck you are. Because if you want to be Moorish, be my guest. But don't bring that shit to me. I know what the fuck I am. I know who I am. And you and no other motherfucker on this planet can tell me I am not whom I am. No, we go to site, you know. We're going to use internet technology on the site. Or site, you know, site has a S, but it's still a site to me. Now, in the mid 15th century, they begin to move my folk from Kenya all around everywhere. And from here, they call it America. Or United Sneaks. They begin to move us all around everywhere. Even in here, the Americas, they begin to move my folk. Like if we were in Florida, they will move us to Florida, to some cold ass fucking country part. And we kind of die because we have been in Florida so long. And there were some of us who were in the cold places. They will move them to where it's really, really hot. And they forced them, and they forced us to move to cold country, and they moved those in cold country to move to hot places. Now, that is a forced thing. The minute you force someone to do something, you've already changed their DNA. And those that came from cold country to the heat, they died also. See, I know how they move my folk around. I don't know shit about your folk. Because you really not telling me about yourself. You're telling me about everyone else. And then you want to throw me in there with everyone else. But you're not telling me about yourself. And as the prophet said when he came to me, he said, know thyself, not everyone else. It's okay for me to know about the prophet, but I need to know about me also. So in the mid 15th century, they began to summon us. And as I said, they moved us around. Now this is from Old French, Sita, to summon. Motherfuckers think they have the scepter and they can just summon whoever they want to summon. They started that in the 14th century. And before the 15th century, they had like a triangle slave trade going on, fucking up our brain cells. Here's Latin. To summon also. Urge and call. Put in sudden motion. That means to move about, to put in sudden motion. Like my son, he got up to get water. Next thing you know, he was going out the door. Oh, and he also said he stole the drink he had. He could not remember even stopping to pay for it. So he said he must have stolen it. It says call forward, rose, and excite. This word excite. See, they took the X off and just put sight because they know what they're doing. Frequentative. I'm going to say this. Frequencies of Siri. To move, set in motion, stir, rolls. Like they had a program for my third daughter that every Tuesday, my son-in-law would get into it. But my daughter was researching some shit. She began to know herself, and she found it out. She told me, Ima, every Tuesday, me and Tim, see his name is Tim, seem to get into it. And she said, I think it's some kind of program. So I talked to her about it, gave her information on it. And then she said, Ima, especially when you come to visit, because I would go from one daughter's house to the other, to my sons, like that. So that neither of them, the manager could say, oh, she's staying there, she's not on the lease. No, she's visiting. I can come visit my grandbabies once a month. And that's what I did. I stay a while, I visit, go somewhere else. And so my daughter and my son-in-law Tim, they would get into this argument every Tuesday. But when I come, like my daughter said, it really escalates. She said, Ima, it really escalates when you come. It is like they're making me and Tim put on a show for you. So my daughter started paying attention to it. Tim started paying attention to it. We would talk about it. They don't argue anymore on Tuesdays. They got that shit right. So it also says to call. So sight means to call. Now we're going to use a telephone. They're not calling you from one room to another, which they can't. But I want to say it's a telephone. So now they're using all of us as Mercury and Kennedys. And then the word invite. Still the number 13. We were not invited to come to this land. We didn't ask to come to this land. We know, did we get an invitation? The bitches came and forced us over here. And those of my folk that were over here, they forced us somewhere else. It's funny. It says Haitian, almost like Haiti. Now, this is from Pi root. I don't know what that is. I never looked it up and I don't want to. K-E-I-E. To set in motion. To move to and fro. Now, the cognates is this nasty Sanskrit bastard. I can't stand them. Their words, which is ATE. It is to eat off your motherfucking mind. See, when they go and read this shit, they know exactly what they're reading, but we don't, because this is a Babylon fucking language. But they have educated themselves and others on how to deal with the science of Hermabim. So now the Sanskrit motherfuckers, they're eating on our minds. EAT. And the Sanskrit, what does he do? He puts his skirt on. And what do they have our brothers doing? Putting on skirts. Because they're EAT. In on their mind. Then it says it stirs himself and goes. No, this reminds me of Cabin in the Woods. The guy said, no, I don't want to go out. But yet, he stirred himself and he went. He goes out. Now we get into a Greek term. To move. All these words mean to move. And to set in motion. Change. What are they changing? The word I found comes from them fucking around in your brain cells. They're changing our DNA and they're changing our mindsets. Once you change our DNA, you change our mindsets. Now they're saying they want to stir up some shit. They're in our brain cells, like put all kind of chemicals in there. Then they take a magnet and stir up all the mercury. That's how come we have so many memory losses going on. And don't get the shit twisted, because they do the same shit to their people because they need to control everyone. Not just the melanated man, but everyone. But I speak on them destroying the melanated man because I am melanated. Then it goes into Kenyamai. See, this started to go into a what we would call an Asian word, if you ask me. Then it says move myself. Like the guy on Cabin in the Woods, he said it was not going to go out. Yeah, he stirred himself up and he went out. It appeared as though he moved himself, but he did not. And so right after this, and speaking of Cabin in the Woods, now we have Gothic. So now Batman is coming up, Gothic City or Gotham City. Yeah, got them motherfuckers. But this here is got that income. Now they want to go to Haiti, call and be called. So now he is God, and he is calling you to get a 22 and shoot your 6-day-old baby girl in the temple. Shot her in her temple. Because they called her to do it. And she kept saying, the TV told me to do it. The TV told me to do it. Yeah, bitch, you have a couple of movies written about that. And I know one. It's Tommy Knockers. Tommy Knockers knocking at the door. Yeah, calling you to get your ass up and move to and fro the way they want you to. So now we come to Old English and it becomes Hatan. Hatan. I bet this is one of the little evil, wicked ass gods. Command and call. Hatan. But I'm going to say these Old English motherfuckers, these Sanskrits, and I didn't see a German little bitch. But this Gothic motherfucker and that Sanskrit motherfucker, they hate us. So now they found ways to put this Mercury in our body and they become God. The satellite is like God. It can see everything. It's omnipresent. All they have to do is program the satellite to watch this person, this person, this person, this person, and then they sit in a chair and watch all the screens that they have, to see what the fuck we're doing. Now I see what you're doing and I don't have a satellite. Well, yeah, you do, because this thing here, what the fuck it? Don't know if you can see it, but that word is satellite. So bitch, I got a satellite for you too. It's a C55 series. 55 mean complete. I completely know what the fuck you're doing. Cognates. To me, that has something to do with like your memory, your thinking. You're cognate about something, like something that you know. Now we go into, it is a sense of calling forth a passage of writings. You damn real. That's all the pink motherfucker do is right. That's why I call him pink too. Not just the color of his skin, but that nigga always got paper, the P, and ink. He writes every fucking thing, calling forth an ass of writings. Yeah, they call us forth. Sometimes they even have us write shit. Like there's a TI. She wrote a book on being a TI and how they do this and that to you, and they just used her and set her down for her to write the book because they need us to know what they are doing, yet they don't want us to know what they're doing. And so they took her and set her down so she couldn't do that, because how can you write a book like that and you be under such heavy duty mind control? The chick is under such heavy duty mind control, it's pathetic. And it says it's first attested, and test means NASA in Hebrew, in 1530. So I'm going to turn this around and say 35. The year my Abba was born and the year York was born. Cited and citing. Yeah, now everyone wants to get on that sighting program that there's a UFO sighting over here, there's a UFO. No, they're not. Those are fucking drones. Pay attention to the movies. They have it where this man, he had everyone going and looking at UFO sightings and they were just toys. But today, those are drones. And a drone can kill your ass. With 24 minutes gone in, so I'm going to say Shitoka Lahi Rayot, and I'm coming right the fuck back. If the adjustment bro, do not fuck with bro.